A very interesting situation is developing. Indeed, I seem to be at war with the whole county of Wiltshire. It's all very interesting, considering this all began in a way where I was simply trying to make Wiltshire residents aware of the activities of their police force. Indeed, it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, people refer to me as the traitor for exposing the police force, which is interesting. If anything, I am the opposite of that by exposing the police force, as the police force operate for Nazi elements. So it's interesting to consider that. Indeed, the Nazis have been infiltrating Britain since the end of the Second World War. They have taken over the entire intelligence and security structures of the United Kingdom in that time. So all of these state authorities are technically working for German Masonic lodges. So it's all very interesting to consider. How could I possibly be a traitor for trying to protect English felines from Faith of Ishmael rape gangs, as that's how this all began? It's all very interesting to consider. I've made an enemy of defence intelligence, i.e. the British military intelligence capacity, operating out of Warminster military base. Indeed, they are attempting to cast me as anything they can, i.e. either a Russian operative or an Israeli operative. So very interesting. I'm neither of these things. I've explained the interconnectivity between Devizes police and the Russian state, and the interconnectivity between the Warminster military intelligence operatives and the Mossad. So it's all very interesting indeed. Various intelligence agencies, i.e. Russian and Israeli intelligence services, are looking at this situation with humour and thinking how stupid are the British intelligence services. Indeed, the British intelligence services have had enough of me because apparently I keep making fools of them, which is all very interesting indeed. I have no loyalty at all to the intelligence services of any nation. I am a highly evolved, paranoid schizophrenic man, and I'm loyal to my felines. Indeed, various percentages of the English mentally ill population are really disappointing me as people. So I'm reserving my judgment on these people. Indeed, I also don't believe they possess paranormal capacities in the way that I do, or that many of them are actually mentally ill in the way that I am. So there's a lot of misdiagnosis going on to cover up for Masonic crimes, as I've explained before. Indeed, the real paranoid schizophrenics are tortured, abused, and harassed by the authorities, especially the Masonic police, and are basically programmed by the intelligence services to do things they wouldn't usually think of doing, as we see with the cases involving the deaths of pensioners at the hands of paranoid schizophrenics. All of these situations were created by British intelligence via programming mechanisms, i.e. the Mindgate mind control programs, which were so prevalent in devices during the Cold War years. It is all very interesting to consider how all of my theories lead me back to devices and the operations of Nazi groups in devices. Indeed, as I stated, various networks of KGB programmers were hired by devices police during the Cold War to program both Anglo and Russian schizophrenics as part of an overarching agenda to attempt to create schizophrenic super spies. However, these operations were supposedly shut down because these schizophrenic super spies were too intelligent for the intelligence services to deal with. Indeed, I've spoken a little bit about the schizophrenic super spy programs that the intelligence services of the United Kingdom were carrying out during and after the Cold War. Indeed, while I was at Grenville Lodge, I was programmed in a schizophrenic super spy program, i.e. the Project Aniseed program. So it's very interesting to consider. Indeed, I have technically been an operative of the British intelligence services at one point during my career. Indeed, I was also recruited into the Russian military intelligence services also. So technically, I've been a double agent. However, I am now a triple agent because I'm loyal to myself and my felines. Indeed, Cassius Lynch, also known as Vermin, is finding this all very difficult to understand, as he is stupid and does not possess any paranormal capacity or capabilities, and is most certainly not in connection with collective cosmic consciousness, as I am. Indeed, he has not reached a higher stage of evolution. He is at the lowest level of the evolutionary scale. Indeed, it's very interesting to consider this, that although I speak of high evolution, I am most certainly not a eugenicist. Indeed, the people running the eugenicist agenda are themselves a lower evolutionary species, believing themselves to be a higher evolutionary species. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, all of their theories are now being thrown back at them in a different way by a paranoid schizophrenic. And such networks as the Mossad, i.e. the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Racial Heredity, are getting increasingly annoyed with me and basically attempting to quell certain unrest within their networks. So it's all very interesting to consider. As I've explained, the intelligence agencies are all factional. There are good people in the Israeli intelligence structure, just as there are good people within the British intelligence structure. However, the evil Aryan faction networks outweigh the activities of the good people. Indeed, however, there are no good people in the British police, not even the special branch. Indeed, special branch have been trying to build up charges against me for racism in recent weeks, for offending the British population, which is all very interesting. That would be very, very amusing. Indeed, I highly doubt anyone is going to take me to court because the police would be too scared. I would start talking to lawyers about the gross human rights violations that the British police, i.e. Devices police, carried out on me over the years. The Calm police also are heavily responsible for a lot of the situation that has arisen over the years due to my constant targeting, persecution and harassment by a PC Stuart Welsh of Calm Police, who is highly operative for Devices Police's kiddie porn trade and runs the majority of the kiddie porn rings in Calm, and is also associated with the organ harvesting, trafficking and distribution network operating out of Walter Rose and Sons butcher's shop in Devices, the trade of which is basically due to an ongoing interconnectivity between Devices Police and the Russian state, whereby experimental so-called rejects of parapsychological phenomena programming are transferred to Wiltshire via Vladivostok ports from Russian secret psychiatric facilities. It is estimated that 10,000 are killed in Devices every 4 years by networks of butcher Freemasons operating for Moonraker Lodge number 8747. It is all very interesting to consider the fact that the butcher shops are a Masonic network operated by German operatives of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. Indeed, all of this is a Nazi operation and part of the Fourth Reich takeover of the United Kingdom. Indeed, as I stated, there is a dialectical transgression between Bavarian Illuminism that dominates Western intelligence and Soviet intelligence that dominates Soviet Illuminism that dominates Russian intelligence. So it's all very interesting to consider the dialectic between Bavarian Illuminism and Soviet Illuminism. Steve, I delineated a little bit about this in previous works. However, I'd like to explain a little further. Indeed, Soviet Illuminism has a Sabbatean source and is in conflict with Nazi networks within the Bavarian Illuminist tradition. So it's all very interesting. Indeed, Russian intelligence is coordinated by various Sabbatean networks connected to the Herschel family, who are operating rogue Sabbatean networks of Mossad operatives attempting to blackmail the crown and introduce a Soviet system in the United Kingdom, which would consist of collective farms policed by KGB operatives. So it's all very interesting. This ideal is in parallel conflict with the Bavarian Nazi ideology, which also wishes to introduce systems of collective farms in a techno-feudal dystopia coordinated by such people as Troy Southgate, who interestingly is towards the Bavarian Illuminist tradition, but is also a Soviet agent at times. So it's all very interesting to consider, indeed, what is Troy Southgate's true loyalty. So Troy Southgate is truly loyal to the Bavarian Illuminist tradition, operating through the Ordo Templi Orientis and the Order of Nine Angles. So it's all very interesting to note that Troy Southgate, despite having at times been a Soviet agent, i.e. an SVR operative, is actually loyal to the Bavarian Illuminist tradition and wants to introduce a system of collective farms, which he bases in his own fusion of Catholic distributism and so-called anarchism. So it's all very interesting indeed. He wants to set himself up as a feudal lord with a harem of toddlers, in a somewhat similar fashion to Paul Schaefer of Colonia Dignidad. However, this would be an open society rather than a closed compound. Indeed, it's all very interesting to consider what Troy Southgate is attempting to unveil in the United Kingdom. Indeed, Troy Southgate is a police state operative, an MI5 source, a Freemason, and at times has been a Soviet agent and a Mossad agent. So it's all very interesting, the interconnectivity of intelligence services. You never know who is working for who. Indeed, what is Troy Southgate's true loyalty? Who is he ultimately loyal to? I believe it is the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst Himmler faction. So it's all very interesting to consider these guys in these secret orders are all interconnected to intelligence services. Indeed, all of the occult orders interconnect with intelligence services, and indeed the occult orders are cover for intelligence operations, as I've explained before. Indeed, due process will reveal that Troy Southgate is an operative of the Bundesnachrichtendienst also, i.e. the German Federal Intelligence Service. So it's all very interesting to consider this ongoing exposure of Troy Southgate, which apparently he's getting really angry with. But I don't care. What's he going to do to me? Richly sacrifice me, eat my bones, and fuck my liver? And that's the thing. That's the thing. I have nothing to lose. I am a higher evolutionary species. I am a chronic paranoid schizophrenic with special powers and collective cosmic consciousness in my brain. Indeed, it's all very interesting. I do not care. I'm a targeted individual by the intelligence services of 9 countries apparently. So it's all very interesting to consider. I'm being targeted by the intelligence services of 9 countries, as well as the British police force and various satanic covens, and even churches, i.e., the Roman Catholic Church, therefore the Vatican's entity, and the Papal Bureau of Assassins, i.e., Turkish military intelligence operatives running the Vatican, have a bone to pick with me, and also the Church of England despises me, and for some reason the Methodist Church, which is all very interesting indeed. The Methodist Church have always served a purpose to pacify the people for the police, basically. So it's interesting to consider how all of these networks are interconnecting to attempt to destroy me, utilizing techno demons and sorcery via voice to skull technology and radiation beams, Stasi style. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the British police has become the new Stasi, surveilling everyone. It's all very interesting to note. Nobody, a special branch, knows what to do, because I keep weaving my way through theories that they can't keep up with. It's all very, very, very interesting to consider. I believe some of my former special branch so-called de-radicalization programmers are watching this and smiling. So it's all very good. In fact, those special branch de-radicalization programmers are actually all right people. So it's interesting to consider there must be at least a few, maybe a handful of decent people within the authorities. That's the thing. This Nazi takeover of the United Kingdom is occurring in stages via networks of police departments operating certain criminal enterprises that suit the Nazi agenda, i.e., organ trade business. This organ harvesting business operating out of devices, i.e., Walter Rosenson's butcher shop, that should also be known as the Walter Schellenberg distribution center, is all very interesting to consider. Indeed, what are these Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst operatives really up to? They're attempting to create a police state in the United Kingdom via various networks of precincts who are operating not only organ harvesting trades, but also rape gangs utilizing the proxies of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, i.e., Faith of Ishmael adherents. So it's all very interesting to consider the Faith of Ishmael adherents are all basically Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst coordinated. It's interesting, the concept of jihad, as we know it in the modern world, was a German intelligence concept created in the Arab world in the late 1800s. So it's all very interesting. All of this seemed to have a German Nazi connection, which leads us back to the Bavarian Illuminist networks of technocrats who originally conceived this plan, and the Mad Housekeepers Guild meeting in 1756 in a basement in Bremen. Indeed, all these networks linked to the cemetery network, which is basically raping my internet so that I can't access certain books, and basically are trying to shut me off from any connections I may make in the future. It's all very interesting indeed. Cass Lynch, I Vermin, is an operative of the cemetery network and is constantly looking into my internet history, attempting to confuse my research. However, he is too stupid to pull this off. Therefore, the cemetery network are thinking of blacklisting him as a failure. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. Cass Lynch is a failure in life and a failure at being human. All he wants to do is rape and torture children and fuck their skulls. So it's all very interesting to consider Cass Lynch, i.e. Vermin, whose real name is Warren Grimes, is operative for the cemetery network via contract from Devizes Police who really cannot handle the fact that they are constantly mentioned, especially the fact that they are being mentioned as being interconnected to the Russian state, which is ruining their plans, basically cast me to the British public as a Russian intelligence operative. Indeed, it's all very interesting how this is turning out and how this is all coming together. This is a big jigsaw, and I am enjoying very gradually putting the pieces together. Indeed, as I stated, this conflict between Devices Peace and myself does have a personal element. Indeed, I do have a vested interest in seeing all of Devices Peace ended. So it's all very interesting to consider. I do not know what is going to happen, but I hope someday someone finds this video diary and deals with these fuckers, basically. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there before I start going off on an angry rant about Devices Peace again. Indeed, this is crazy. Everyone says this current channel is crazy. It is crazy. And I am crazy, but there's a logic to my craziness. This is the thing. People are realizing that I'm not a Russian operative or an Israeli operative, which is very interesting for a lot of people. Indeed. Felines. I will talk to you soon. Indeed, I'm going to end it there.